In recent years, arts and culture have been recognized as one of the engines of economic development. One rural Iowa community that has truly embraced that notion is Fairfield. Tomorrow, a 3-weekend run of Godspell starts in the Fairfield Arts and Convention Center. On the musical side, the center hosts diverse artists and styles from Broadway musicals to opera to country and western and more. Our Out and About correspondent Dan Kaercher explored Fairfield's various cultural venues.
Laid out in 1839, Fairfield was officially incorporated in 1847. A typical Iowa farming community, it hosted the very first state fair in 1854. Parsons College, a small religious-affiliated liberal arts school, opened in 1875. By 1893, the town had the first Carnegie Library outside of Pennsylvania and a new courthouse. For decades, people went about building farms and homes, businesses and schools. In short, they built a community. Then, in the 1970s, Parsons College closed, and the campus was bought by what is now called Maharishi University of Management, rooted in the principles of Transcendental Meditation. Today, Fairfield is home to both a grain elevator and meditation domes. There's a Hy-Vee and Everybody's Whole Food store. It's been a big change for the town, and it hasn't always been an easy fit between the old-timers and their new neighbors. But that's not what this story is about. This story is about how a town with a rich cultural heritage got even richer. These days, on the first Friday evening of every month, Fairfield streets look like they did when farm families came to town on Friday or Saturday nights. This is the First Friday's Artwalk, named Iowa's Tourism Event of the Year in 2005. Celebrating all kinds of art, the walk is built around a different theme each month. On our visit, it was heritage art. And there was art of various kinds in galleries, restaurants, bookshops, and even a bank, along with music, an antique doll and toy show, activities for children, and food. Early in the evening, we talked to Kathy Wadsworth, executive director of the event.
Each art walk we have ranging from about 30 to 60 volunteers that put this all on. It's an amazing event. The whole community just comes together and makes this all happen.
The art walk was started by newcomers from the meditating community, but it found fertile ground here. Fairfield boasts a native son who was a professional artist in the early 1900s. You can see some of Harry Schreiner's work in the new library. Several pieces of public art were commissioned by the local art association that's existed since the 1960s. And local high school students contributed their efforts most recently to a barn quilt project. Their teachers spent this First Friday at the museum, one of the oldest in the state, in the old Carnegie Library. Among other things, it proudly displays Native American art, some Roman antiquities, and the history of Fairfield's Louden Machinery Company.
The Louden catalogs, in the teens and 20s, they were like little hardbound books with wonderful kind of arts and crafts style borders, almost Art Nouveau, some of them.
And there's even more to Fairfield's cultural scene than the visual arts. We stopped by a rehearsal for Godspell in the very new Fairfield Arts and Convention Center. Its theater is named for Stephen Sondheim, a modern musical theater luminary. This is not a roadshow. It's being produced by the center, which often brings in national and regional talent. But connecting to the outside world is not new here.
As far back as the mid to late 1800s, we had Chautauqua Days. So Fairfield's always been interested in the arts and performing and bringing people in from the outside to share in the community.
This building celebrates all that and more, with a display about Parsons heritage, a gallery for the Fairfield Art Association, and a floor mural that depicts the courthouse that stands right across the street.
We felt that with this new building, there was an aspect that we wanted to preserve in terms of our history and also celebrate in terms of our new direction. We felt that the blending and putting that together was extremely significant for us.
It's an Iowa tradition, the past and the present coming together for the future.
And that wraps up this edition. Join us for the next Iowa Journal when we get the Iowa perspective on a documentary about Iowa's major commodity, corn. Until then, good night.
Funding for the Iowa Journal has been provided by Friends, the Iowa Public Television Foundation, generations of families and friends who feel passionate about Iowa public television programs, and by Mid-American Energy Company, helping to harness renewable sources of electricity for Iowa customers through their investment in wind power. Information is available at midamericanenergy.com. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.